Okay, so I just have my pack sitting here, and I'm just going to show you out here real quick, because I told you I'd go over this with you. Right here, this is my emergency survival kit, okay? And the fact that it has survival kit as a name means you better make it worthwhile, okay? So I don't believe in just filling an Altoids tin and I'm going to go out in the middle of the wilderness with an Altoids tin of a little razor blade and a rink-a-dink couple items that really aren't going to help me at all. It's just going to make it frustrating. So I carry something, it's compact, it's not big, it's not heavy, okay? It's nothing crazy, but it's got more in it than you can think of, okay? It's waterproof, paracord on the outside because paracord is rot proof pretty much, so that can go on the outside. I don't need that on the inside. There's no reason for me to open this unless I need it. So what I'm going to do is just give you the look at it out here. When I get back home, I'm just going to take all the items out and I'm going to go over each one with you and why they're in there. Okay, because I believe having an emergency kit means carrying something important in there and carrying enough of it to where if something were to go wrong, you have something to make your situation not so bad. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I carry and why. This is my opinion and off my experiences, why I carry these things and why I carry in this and why I carry this much. Okay, so I'll see you back home and we'll go over everything in here. Okay, so I told you guys I was going to go over the kit that I carry and what I would carry in it and why. And here it is right here. Showed it to you out when I was out in the bush. And what it is a 7-inch by 4.5 inch by 1.5 deep. Okay, it's a waterproof container sealed by a rubber seal that goes all the way around it. Okay, it's right here, you can maybe see that. And there's a reason I carry it this small. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's the perfect size. Again, it's waterproof, so everything inside is going to remain dry. And I can carry everything I need in this thing to not just help me survive, but help me survive for a longer time if need be. Okay, if you carry too small of a kit, you know, for an emergency, you're just asking for trouble. There's a reason it's called an emergency survival kit, because in an emergency you need something to help you survive. Okay, and that's why I carry this. It does not add any weight, or you know, I mean, it's maybe 1 pound right there, maybe just a hair over 1 pound. It's not a lot of weight, so it's not going to affect me any. It does not take up that much space. If I'm going on a long trip or a semi-long trip, this should come with me. Now what I have on here at the very start is a good amount of paracord wrapped around this thing. Okay, you just simply put a loop here, you know, a half a loop, and then wrap it around that and run your tag in through that loop and pull the other end and it cinches it down. Easy to get undone. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by just taking this apart. I got a chunk of deer hide down here. We're going to lay everything on and go over every use because everything in here is multifunctional in many ways. Okay, so we want to take this paracord off here. So I just pull this end here. It brings me that loop that I had running. Pull that through and I just simply unwrap it. Okay, that's a simple way because paracord does not rot on you. So it can sit on the outside, you don't have to waterproof it. There's no reason for me to waste space putting it inside this container. Okay, so you can see I had a good amount, and I could put even more on there if I wanted, which wouldn't hurt. I can break this stuff down into fishing line. You know, there's different strands in here that you can break down into smaller strands even, make some fishing line. Paracord's versatile. If you had to, you could hang on this. It's called 550 cord for a reason, because it's 550 pound breaking strength. So I double that over, weave it, and I've got 1,000 pound breaking strength. Okay, also on the outside, I've got a industrial strength rubber band just wrapped around this. Why? Well, I can use this for many different things. I can use it as a hunting device by turning this into a slingshot, and I have other things in here that are multifunctional that can be used to aid me in that by making a pouch. All I need is a piece of wood, okay? and some of this cordage to tie it on. That's all I need. Bam, I have a nice hunting device, something to help me gather food, because I'm going to obviously want food. My experience doing situations that are survival based, I get hungry, and hunger can screw with your mind. So this is all based on my experience, everything that's in here, why I would carry it. Okay, it's compact, it's efficient, and that's how I run my life, is based on efficiency. Okay, so we have this rubber band. I can use this thing as a tourniquet as well if I had to. I've got cordage for that as well, but bands work good as tourniquets if I had to use it. Tourniquets are iffy though. Now, right off the bat, on the very top, we've got a 45-gallon drum, thick, heavy-duty grade trash bag. Okay, this thing folds out huge, and it wasn't fun folding it nice and compact like this and getting all the air out of it, so I'm gonna leave it. But there's a reason I packed this the way I packed it also, so I don't poke holes in this. All my pokey things are tucked away and underneath other things, so this doesn't get punctured. Okay, I want this on the top away from everything else. Alright, now this trash bag, multifunctional. I've got shelter here, okay, I've got something to keep myself out of the elements, and I've also got a device to keep me warm. This is almost like an emergency space blanket, okay? There's no pores, this isn't breathable, so it's going to keep my body heat inside. If it was cold and I had this on, sun is going to absorb into this because it's black, okay? It's going to get hot, and that's what I want if I'm in a cold situation. Okay, I want to trap heat inside this thing. I put it over me and stuff leaves inside of it, or I could dig a hole if I needed water, dig a hole, put this in the hole, let rainwater catch in it, and now I have made this into a container. Okay, so this can be used as a container. You dig a hole, place this inside of it, let the rainwater fall in, boom, you got fresh water you can drink straight out the bag. You can use this for a solar still. That'll be in a separate video to make one. I should have made one in Florida while I was on the beaches, but you can make a solar still with this by laying this over top of your still and putting the pebble in the center and letting the water inside your hole drip in as it vaporizes. So there's a bunch of reasons right there why to have this as your shelter and other functions as well. Okay, so you can see how I have this here. I've got this pack, and you can see there's a few different items. You can see some items in here that are like, well, what's that? Why is that in there? The first thing I'm going to say is dead space. Okay, don't waste any space in a container this size. Just think outside the box. What can you throw in these little cracks and crevices to make your situation better if you run into that situation? Okay, I put a bunch of wax in there. Okay, all this dead space is filled to the brim. I've got this piece of wax, this piece of wax. Now I've got a bunch of little ones all up in here too. Why? Because wax is good for helping me get fire going. I can use it to burn, I can make a wick and burn this to give me light throughout the night or extra heat inside my shelter. Alright, this wax is multifunctional. If it's wet outside and I need to make a fire, this can help me. It's almost like having a fire tinder that's made for wet situations that'll burn no matter what. Well, you stick this on that little bit of wood you process, drip this over it, it'll extend that flame to get that wet wood burning. Okay, wax is a great thing to have on you. So I've got a pile of that. Now, I carry a light, a little mini headlight. Okay, why? Because I've been in the dark without one, and it's not fun making torches that only burn for 20 minutes. You never know your situation. You might need this to go hunting at night. That might be your only source of food, is going frog gigging or something. It's not recommended to do things at night, but with this, that changes the game. Okay, now I have a way to see at night. Fishing at night can stun fishes because if you shine this light on them, they just sit there. I've gone sucker spearing many times in Michigan, and the light helps you. That's why you do it at night. Okay, so this light is going to be multifunctional for me. I can use this for so many different things. I lose something at night, or I need to do something at night, I didn't get enough firewood, whatever the case is. There's so many different scenarios you'd need it. To get through my kit at night, something's going on in the middle of the night where I need this thing, and I need to go through my kit. I've got a light, okay? That saves me a lot of hassle. I don't want to have to make a torch. There's not going to be a cattail and some olive oil around if I have to resort to this thing. So, this torch is coming with me. a compass. Why? Because if I'm lost and I can't get out and I don't know my way out, but I know north is the way I need to go, well, here's north. I don't have to go do a primitive way, which is always good to learn the basics. Even in the military, they teach you the basics in case these things fail, or in case you don't have it. So I know the basics, but I know this is easier. I know this is more accurate. If I need to go north, I point this thing north, and I know that if I walk that way, I'm going to get out. Okay? Or I know there's some village to the east. Okay, well, I can use this and say, okay, well, they said 320 degrees this way at, this many kilometers. Well, then I can fashion up some pace beads. Okay, I can just hold rocks in my hand and put them in my pocket as I go, marking each 1 kilometer. Okay, each 100 paces put a rock in, another 100 paces put a rock in. Repeat the process, and I've got this thing to guide me, so I know I'm going the right way. Compass is one of them things that you can say it's a luxury item, but why not have it? It's going to help you. So I've got a compass. Okay, so then we come and I have more cordage. Alright, I've got some tarred nylon line here, which I've got quite a bit of it. I can use this for many different things. Okay, it's different than our paracord. It can be used differently. This can be used to lash a shelter to aid me, because I don't want to have to weave a bunch of cordage together out of bark and stuff. I've done it. It's tiring. It's time consuming. And I know, because of my experience, there was one time in Michigan where I went with no knife. I went with nothing out there, no container. And you have just barely enough time to do fire and shelter, and that's it. Now you're thirsty and now you're hungry, but you don't have enough time for it. You only have so much time when you stick yourself in one of these situations, and that's why it's good to go out and practice. Okay, so cordage, I'm going to bring a lot of it. This tarred nylon line can be used for many different things, so it's coming with me. Fishing line again, snares, whatever I need to use it for, it's coming with me. Okay, now here's some more items that I've got. Inside this little bag here, I've got some saran wrap in this thing. What I've got in there is 6 water purification tablets, and they are iodine based. So these become multifunctional now. Okay, this saran wrap is going to be my pouch for my slingshot with this rubber band when I use these. Okay, they're wrapped in, if you ever get these pills, there's a piece of cotton in there that's soaked in the brown fluid iodine looking stuff. I wrap them inside that to keep them from the sun, and then wrapped in a good amount of saran wrap, which I know I can use in other ways. Okay, so 6 of them means that I've got 3 liters of purified water without even having to boil it. And I can use these things, since they have iodine in them, I could use them antiseptically. So I get a big old cut and a gash, well, I know I can at least help keep it clean by putting any type of water that I cleaned with these in there. Okay, break a little bit of the pill up, put it in a small amount of water, slap it in that wound, and clean it out. Okay, can't hurt. We got some more wax here, another piece here, another piece here, some pieces here. I've got all this wax here. Alright, now what else I've got here? If you remember my video on chia seeds, well, that's what this is. It's a bag of chia seeds. Not going to go bad on me, and there's a reason I carry them. Food, okay? Like I said, in my experiences, food can get to you real quick. And if you remember from my video, if you've seen it, on chia seeds, and you'll have to watch it if you want to learn everything about these, this suppresses your appetite, okay? That's huge. I want this because I want my appetite suppressed. I don't want to feel hungry all the time. Okay, I want to be focused on what I got to get done. Also, these hold water in your body. Okay, these things ball up like little jelly balls when they're soaked in water. They're huge once they soak up water. It's like 10 times more their weight in water. So we've got chia seeds here to aid us in food suppressant and holding moisture in our body. This is known as the runner's food. The Mayans would use these, the Incas, and they would use these for running because they would help them endurance-wise. So yeah, I'm going to shove me a bag full of chia seeds in my emergency kit because I know water and food are a big problem when it comes to survival. Okay, that's because I test myself. I don't just study things, I do them. and that's a big part in life. You know, a lot of people read the Bible and say you should do this, but a lot of people don't do it, and that's a big part of my life. You know, I'm one of them people that believes in doing things, and I want you to do the same, and that's why I'm telling you this. I feel like doing is more important than saying and learning. So go out there and do things. Now, chia seeds I know are going to help me. They're filled with all kinds of nutrients and omegas, so it's going to give me some nutrients and some self-sustaining food, some sustenance that I'm going to need. So I'm going to pack myself some chia seeds, wrapped in another bag. This pouch breaks, I got an extra, got a spare. Rubber band, another smaller rubber band, used for the same thing. I can strengthen my band wrapping this rubber band around that one. Okay, so I have a rubber band holding that thing closed. So that's a multifunctional item there that's huge. Okay, now here, I've got quite the rig here. I know fishing is huge in most areas. Okay, you can catch fish if you know what you're doing. What I have here is this, my line's coming unraveled here, I gotta tighten that back down. But what I've got here is a bamboo skewer underneath all this right here, and the bamboo skewer is wrapped in duct tape. Everyone knows there's 1,000 reasons to have duct tape. Okay, it's multifunctional and you can use it for so many different things. Now, what I have on the outside of the duct tape is some fishing line. This is braided fishing line. I don't have mono because if I'm going to be catching fish with any kind of fishing line in a survival situation, I'm going to want something that ain't going to break. Braided line is what I use most of the time anyways for fishing in the ocean or in fresh water. I do use mono here and there, but 90% of the time I'm going to be using braided line. Okay. Now what I have here, this little deal wrapped around this is known as a sabiki rig. Okay. There's a reason I carry that. I know in most places in this world there is bodies of water that have fish, and if there's bigger fish, there's little fish. I don't need to catch the biggest fish in the body of water. With this, I know I can catch bait fish, and I know I can use them to either catch bigger fish or I can use them to eat. Okay, sabiki rigs are great. They're wrapped in this nice shiny material that helps you as bait. All you need to do is throw even a piece of grub or whatever you can find. I guarantee you can find something. Even if you put little leaves on there that looks like bait, grass, whatever you got, throw it on the hook, them little fish is going to hit it. Okay, I've caught thousands of fish on this little thing using it in the ocean to catch bait fish. I've caught fish in freshwater, bluegills. I've had like 3 bluegills on it once using this thing. So I'm carrying a sabiki rig. If it breaks, I've got multiple little hooks I can use to aid me in fishing as well. Okay, it takes up no room. It's just wrapped around the duct tape, which I can use that duct tape for so many different things, you know, from cordage to tinder. You can throw this on a fire and it's a fire extender. The fishing line is just another set of cordage I can use, or to wrap, because I do have other fish hooks in here, okay, because they take up no space. But the sabiki rig's coming with me, and that's going to be my main part of fishing right there. So sabiki rig, braided line, duct tape, bamboo skewer. If I had to make a blowgun, then I could make a blowgun, and I got a dart. That's about the only use I can think of. But that's really not much of a use. It was just aided to wrap that duct tape around, to give me something to wrap it with. Okay, duct tape, patch up my shelter here. I can do multiple things with it. In case you're not familiar with the sabiki rig, what it is 5 hooks, 5 or 6 hooks sometimes. Let's see, this one has 5 on it, and they're all lashed on the same piece of line. Okay, so you essentially have a great way to catch small fish rapidly. Alright, that's a sabiki rig. Okay, it'll have a sinker on the bottom of it, like so. Just a small little sinker, and we can use that to cast out real far very easily to use to catch fish in areas that we might not be able to reach, because that's what the sinker does. It'll sink it down at the bottom and help us cast really far out. So then I come down here and I've got a piece of cotton cloth. Okay, I can make char cloth with that. I can use that to wrap a wound. If I need to clean my wound out with the iodine tablets, I can wrap this on it to keep it clean so I don't have to use any more. It's my functional purpose. and the big one is char cloth, and I'll get to that in a minute. Next, I have an actual piece of candle, okay? Nice and small, compact, simple wax on it. Not used yet. I don't want to use a used one. I want the wick nice and fresh. And this can be used for, again, heat, throwing in my fire if it's wet to burn, get me a fire going, give me some light at night. Whatever the case is, I got this little piece of candle to help me out, and I've got extra wax on the side. Now, this is not my only blade that I carry. Okay, this is just another aid. This is a pack of razor blades. I've got 5 of them in here, which can be used for multiple different things. Okay, razor blades are good for, getting slivers out, to flaying animals like fish and such. They're good for those type of things, for cutting small things. If I need to take a piece off my garbage can or this plastic here, this is good for that because it's not going to serrate the bag or anything. It's going to do a nice smooth simple cut. Or if I have to cut open a pus wound or something I got to do with this, I've got razor blades that are sterile and clean, not used, and it's in a pack, concealed, so it's not going to cut up my shelter. I've got 5 of them because they take up no space. You can see how small that is. It's not gonna hurt my situation at all, having 5 of these in this small container, keeping them concealed so they're not poking holes in all the stuff that I need to rely on. Okay, so I've got a pack of razor blades. Now we get to the bottom of this, and I'm going to go over what's in the tin here in a minute. We get to the bottom of this, and we can see we've got some more wax here, and we've got our aluminum foil. I showed you what you can do with this. You can cook with this, you can boil water with this, and I keep a heavy duty amount in here, okay? Don't go get cheap stuff. Get a heavy duty kind and get a good amount in there. I mean, you can see how flat that is, and I've got a lot in there. Alright? Get yourself a good amount. Now, this is multifunctional as well. I showed you what you can do with it. Again, you can cook, you can boil water, or you can signal. Okay? This is a reflective surface. You can use this to, alert someone. You unfold this thing real big and stick this and wave it in the air or flash someone with it. They're going to see that because this is an out-of-place object in the wild. Okay, it shouldn't be waving around and blowing around. So if you need to signal someone, this is going to help you. Alright, so here we have another multifunctional item. Alright, so then we come to just this itself. This is another container, which why not? Because I can use this to hold, say I boil some water, or I'm boiling water with this and I want to purify more water because I'm in a situation where it's just draining the water out of me. Okay, so I can use this to use my purification tablets or collect rainwater in. It's waterproof, so I know it's going to hold all these items and keep them nice and clean. So here's another container. So I have 3 containers already. 1 here with the garbage bag, 2 with the foil, and 3 here. I've even got this tin here, which can be used also as a small container. It is not reliable for boiling. Okay, you're not going to boil anything in that. You're going to waste your time pretty much boiling water in that. Okay, so we have that. So there we have them items. Now, let's get inside this. I got this thing packed full with awesome items. Okay, rubber band. Again, I don't need to explain it anymore. Just another one, and another one yet. So there's 2 more rubber bands. They can also all be used. Okay, now we've got our tin here. And we can use this for many different things. We could make pine glue sticks or some, work on some pine pitch, certain things like that inside here if we had to. We can make char cloth with this because, again, I showed you, I've wrapped some cotton in here to aid me because you never know how long you're going to be out there, and that's why I carry these things. If you're going to end up being out there, you might have 100 miles to go and you might be out there for a month. You don't know. Okay? You don't know your situation. You don't know what you're about to go through. And that's the thing, be prepared. That's why I put these items in this kit, because I want to be prepared. Alright? If I lose whatever I've got, and this is all I've got, I don't want to have a couple razor blades and some small items that make no sense to even have, because they're just going to end up frustrating me when I have to cut down this or do that. It's just going to frustrate you. This is actually doable. Okay, so inside here, I got some wire. Again, it's inside here because it's not going to poke my shelter here. Okay, it's not going to put holes in that or my aluminum foil. I don't want holes in those because I need to rely on those. So my snare wire, which can be used for that or anything else you can think of, I've got that inside here. I've got some super glue. Why? Because if I get a gash, okay, I want to be able to cinch that wound up. I don't care if it's toxic and bad for me. I don't care about any of that. I'm going to slap some super glue in there and I'm going to just fill that thing and I'm going to cinch that wound closed and wrap it as tight as I can until I get out of there and doctors can do the rest. Okay? Super glue is huge. You can use it for different things. You can, if you're out there for a long time, you can make tools with this stuff. Okay? Super glue is just one of those things that's kind of like duct tape. You can use it for a lot of different things. Alright? So, you got super glue. Why not? I had room for it. I'm putting it in. I had dead space. Okay, some of my dead space, I got paper clip, or not paper clips, but safety pins. Again, slivers, fish hooks, whatever. I've got 4 of them. Why not? They don't take up no space in there. They're small. So I got 4 of them in there. You can use them to, if my coat zipper breaks, you know, that's huge. Everyone zips up their coat for a reason because it traps heat. Well, I can use these to help hold my coat closed if my zipper breaks. Or lash my shelter together. Okay, I know I got another one. I got 2 fish hooks in here that are larger. So, again, back to the sabiki rig. I go and catch me some fish. Well, now I can go and catch me some bigger fish because I caught some smaller fish. Now I can try at least. So I got 2 hooks. In case I lose one, I don't want to be mad. I got an extra, so it's alright. Why not? Those 2 hooks take up no space. So I got 2 good circle hooks, and they're circle hooks as well. Okay? There's a reason I use those. Now, I'll go to this next because this is important. I have got a very good pocket knife. Okay? This is not, you know, just some cheap $2 pocket knife. The reason I got this pocket knife is because I don't want to rely on them razor blades to do my actual whittling and whatever else I got to do. You'd be surprised what you can cut down with this little thing. It's strong. I like a blade that locks in and isn't gonna like come undone on me. You can hear that good click? That means it's a good blade. It's sharp, it's strong. I can use this for many different things. It's a blade, okay? And you need a good strong one for doing certain jobs, okay? I can put my thumb there, I can whittle things, I can carve arrows, whatever I gotta do. I got this. Those razor blades, if that's all you carry is your backup, you know, in your emergency kit, you're setting yourself up for disaster, okay? This is what you need. You need some kind of good pocket knife that folds down. It's lightweight. You can see that it's got a lot of holes taken out to reduce the weight. It's still strong, okay? You can baton this thing, trust me. And I will, you know, show you that. I'm not just going to say, I will shoot a video on me using all these items, okay? I will do that down the road. But this here, it's a must. Don't just rely on this or a carpet knife because it's not going to help you that much. You can use it, you know, or a breakaway knife. You don't want to use those because once they break and they're gone, okay? They're not a very strong blade. You can't really baton very well with them. This thing I can. It's strong. You know, spend a little bit of money on a good pocket knife. Do some research on them. Alright? So I've got a good, here's my solid blade. This is what I guard with my life. Because I know how hard it is using stones to cut things and do things. And there's not always stones around. So then I've got a bunch of pocket lint from the dryer lint I guess. Super flammable. This is just to help me if I don't have any tinder around or everything's wet. Boom. Strike this once, got fire. Or I can use this to put on a wound to soak up any blood that's coming out. Multifunctional. Look at that. More wax. I got wax piled in here all over the place. Because I'm filling up that dead space, okay? I'm going to put items in there that are going to help me again. And then we got here a lighter, okay? Simple. Why not carry a lighter? It makes no sense to not. When you need to get food, fire, water, and shelter, because those are your 4, I mean, those are what you need to focus on. You're not focusing on anything else when you know you're in a situation. Those are your 4 main priorities right then and there, because more than likely you don't have time to hike out of there before nightfall, because usually most people realize they're in that situation at a later time of the day. So I carry a full brand new lighter, okay? Always bring a lighter. Primitive fire is not easy. Using a ferro rod isn't always that easy when you got wet stuff to deal with, but a lighter, it's going to help you. So I carry that. I got a few pieces of char cloth here, okay? Everyone knows we can strike that with some rock. If we lose these items somehow, well, we got some char cloth, okay? Notice that I have multiple ways to make fire, because fire almost jumps in front of water, because without it, you really can't get water. But I do have these as backup, those pills, alright? Fire is so important in survival. You know, it boosts your morale. It's going to give you potable water, cook your food. It's going to do, you know, like I told you, boost your morale in a way you never knew that it would, okay? Fire is going to be the greatest thing for you in that type of situation. And it's going to keep you warm, which is huge. Keep the bugs away. There's so many things it can do. So then next we're coming to another way to start fire. Alright, and this is the just a magnesium bar, okay? And you simply just shave shavings off, and you can see where I've done that. This has been used a little bit, but that's alright because it's got plenty left on it, and it's got a striker on it here. And I'll show you what I do. I don't use my actual knife. This is where these little razor blades can come in handy. Okay, I can use this to strike with. Okay, these little razor blades are perfect for that. Okay, so I've got 4 more that I can use in here for all my other tasks. I don't have to destroy my one knife blade on this thing here. I can simply use this razor blade and strike away. And I can shave those little pieces off like this. I mean, it shaves perfect little pieces off when you use this. Okay, so there's another use for your razor blade. You've got that covered, and you don't have to worry about destroying your one important piece of equipment, and that is your knife. So we've got that. We've got a magnesium bar, and then I have another piece of cloth in here, piece of cotton. Okay, so I've got 2 of those, one sealed in here, one out there. And then you can hear in there, I've got a multitude of wax in there. You can see all that. That was all filling dead space. I'm just going to have to pile it back in when I clean up. And then the last item I have is a needle. Okay, I've got this sail needle here to stitch up anything, or in case the safety pins are gone and they're all broken, I have this to work on slivers or stitch anything up that I need to stitch up. I've got all this cordage, you know, like I said, if I need to stitch my jacket up because the zipper broke, I can stitch that up with all this paracord inside there, or this tarred line here I've got, or even this thread down here in my fishing line. I can use this needle here to get the job done. Okay, this comes with me. It's a multi-use item. I can use it for different things, and it's going to come with me. It takes up no space again. You can see it just slaps down in there, and it's not like it's even in there. So there's my kit. That's everything that I carry in there. You can see I've got everything covered, from shelter to food to fire to water. I mean, I've got the basics covered, and I've got some extras on the side. Okay, I've got a compass to help me with navigation. I've got, you know, multiple things to help me with food. I've got snare wire, I've got cordage for snares, I've got fishing tackle, I've got, you know, these sabiki rigs, which I know I can catch fish with if they're there. I've got 2 larger hooks. I've got chia seeds to suppress my appetite so I'm not as hungry, and it's going to help keep moisture in my body and give me a lot of nutrients that I need. Okay, I've got a light, which is a luxury item. Why not? It fits in there just fine. I've got everything else covered, so now I'm going to shove some items in there that you might not think, well, why would I carry a luxury item? That's for wussies. Well, go get in a survival situation and tell me how bad you want this. Okay, so we've got cordage covered here. We've got a way to boil water. We've got a way to disinfect water with tablets. We've got duct tape to help us. We've got this shelter, which can be used as a container, can be used as a heating device, it can be used as so many different things. You know, we've got ways to make char cloth inside of this here. That's what this is for, you know, just to make a piece of char cloth or to use as a bandage. I've got extra. Okay, so I've filled up every square inch of this thing with something. Okay, and that's the importance of it. You need to fill this thing up to the point where it ain't gonna fit anything else. Okay, fill that dead space, utilize every inch of it, because when it comes to that situation, you're gonna be thinking about, oh, I could have put that in there and I need that right now. Okay, and that's why I wanted to go over my kit. You can see it's a small amount of items, but these little items will pack a punch. Alright, this thing here is huge. Just a small compact little device that's waterproof. You can see that rubber seal that runs around this brim here. It's heavy duty. You can use that for some other ways as well, I'm sure, if you had to. Okay, so there you have it. There's my survival kit. So there you have it, guys. There's my survival kit. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you take some of these things seriously and maybe remodel your kit a little bit. The chia seeds, it's huge. I suggest you try them. All them other items are important. Have multiple ways to make fire. I've got razor blades, and I've got a nice pocket knife that's going to do me some good. Okay, I don't have some little rink-a-dink breakaway knife that is only going to do me so much good until it's gone or breaks, or I have a bigger task that I need to do. You know, you need something that's going to rely you. Spend a little bit of money on some items. Give yourself multiple items that you need. Don't give yourself, you know, well, I got cordage, I got 3 feet of it. You know, I shove that, you know, don't just carry a tin like that, because that's all you're going to fit in there, is just a small amount, and then you're going to be like, well, I got cordage, I have some. Well, you only have 3 feet. What good's that going to do you? So, just go out there and test your kit. That's the best thing to do, is test it, see what it can do for you. Maybe there's some items, you know, this kit may change over time, and I may alter this with that, or add this, or, you know, whatever the case is, I may. But for now, based on my experience and what I've done out in the bush, because I do test myself, okay, I do go out there with nothing and see what I can do. I have that capability. I've got 100 acres in Michigan I can stomp around on that I use, and I have tested myself out there with nothing to use. I've made containers out there, boiled water in them, and by the time you're done, you're exhausted, okay? And you wished you had these items right here. This would have helped me so much. It's not even funny, because if you have to do everything primitively, you're going to be exhausted. You're going to find you have no time to do anything else. Don't let TV fool you. You know, you can get some cool tips and tricks that you can use. You know, there's always good information on things, okay? Don't get me wrong there. You know, don't think that you're going to go out in a survival situation and, you know, go build a huge raft and a canoe and all that. It's not going to happen. You're only going to have time for what you have time for, and that is the basics. Okay, that's what I strive on. Just simply learn the basics to get yourself out and keep yourself alive. That's all you're going to have time for. So keep all that in mind, and if you have any questions or anything, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer them, and I'll be back with you guys with the next one.